Morning. So today we are at MCS. Now MCS do all of our box profile cladding material and all of our flashings, cheddar flashings all the way through to the flashings for the buildings. We've dealt with MCS now for probably, well, in fact, since the day we started trading. We knew of MCS beforehand, and Simon Turner, our sales director, was quite pally with the guys here. So basically, when we started out in business, they were very, very good to us, because in the beginning, they basically said, as long as you pay your bill at the end of the month, we'll work with you. They were very good to us in the beginning, and we've been loyal to them ever since, and they have been the main supplier of our cladding material, all of our buildings, for the last 12 years. When we were at the local job the other day, I mentioned that we show you how the sheets are made. We're going to go across to MCS, which is the firm that we use to supply 99% of our box profile material. We'll show you guys how the whole process of plastisol or box profile sheeting is made. Well, Sam and the guys here have basically invited us across. They've got one of our orders that they're going to process and put through today, and we can follow the process all the way through until it's getting ready to be loaded on the wagon. I'm going to go and have a brew with the guys now. We're going to have a quick wander around, and then we'll show you the process. Okay, so Sam's going to give us the guided tour now. We've had a wander round and a brew, but he's going to run us through some of the processes of how it works. So in layman's terms, as I understand it, basically they buy a toilet roll of material. That toilet roll gets put on a toilet roll dispenser. It's pulled through the machine and it's rolled into the cladding profile that we all know as 32,000 or 34,000 or whatever it is that their machines are doing. And then it's all stacked up, it's wrapped up in a pack, and then basically on the wagon to our site. And flashings is pretty much a very similar thing. They've got flat tin sheets that they put through at 3 meters long into the machines, and it folds them to any shape or size that we're after, and then basically they're packaged up and sent to site. These are what I call the toilet rolls. So this is leather grain plastisol material that comes in all wrapped up. I don't know how many meters on a roll, but Sam will tell us in a minute. And then they take this and they put it on the machine in there. So I'm going to find Sam and he'll explain a bit more. So just a little side note, the other day when we were at the local job, I made reference to the difference between plastisol and polyester. This is polyester, so this is the painted sheet. So you can see it's smooth and it is just literally a painted coating on top of the material. This here is plastisol. And plastisol, you can see, has got a leather grain on it, and it's a plasticky type covered coating that gets put on over the top. The other thing as well here, and some of our buildings have this, is this profile here is what we call vent air. So if you look down it now, you'll see there's a load of slots in the material, and that gives an air vent. So you'd put this on a building with some form of livestock in it, which will give extra ventilation to the building. But that's what it is. The material is rolled and then it goes through a series of rollers that basically just crimps and splits the material and puts this vented gap in. So it's too small for any vermin to get in and out of, but it's enough to let the air in and out. So this is Sam, and Sam runs MCS here, and he's going to explain now a little bit about the coil itself, because I've done all the technical terminology of the toilet roll. So Sam, what is on the coil? What sort of meterage and weight are they?
So on the coil, we will buy wagon loads of it in. There'll be about 5 coils per wagon because They're about no more than 5 tons for us in each coil.
Wow, okay, so, 5 ton each.
Yeah, so you won't want that falling on you.
On your toe, no.
The amount of meters we've got, it can be between 700 to 1,000 meters on a coil. Predominantly the stuff you use for the side cladding is 0.5 mil gauge, so you can get more meters on a coil.
Yeah.
They come in from Tata Steel, so a lot of the steel, that's our main supplier of coil.
Yep.
British steel, it comes from Port Talbot down in South Wales, and it has a plastisol coating with a leather grain effect on it. 200 microns of plastisol, and it's just a good durable finish. So
that's an interesting bit for us, because I mentioned on here that there's 2 options that I know of, one being plastisol, one being polyester.
Yes.
We avoid polyester because I don't think it's as good a product, unless you're telling me differently now, but to me personally it marks quite easy when we come to fit it, and the leather grain is a lot more forgiving from a fitting perspective, and I think the leather grain is a better quality product. Do you agree with that?
I do, yeah. Polyester, you know, it has its purpose. People who want to save money where they can, they'll go for the polyester finish.
Yeah.
It has a lesser guarantee. And like you say, you only have to touch the stuff. If you drag a sheet over it, you've marked it straight away.
Yeah, okay. So that was, we've just seen a coil of juniper go in actually. That, I presume, is the one you were on about, is for our order now, is it?
That's it, yeah. So we've got it on prepped, fed into the machine. We're ready to roll one of your side sheet orders.
So let's go and have a look at that.
Okay.
So I know bits about this. So I know that the material comes in on the forklift and they put that toilet roll on here, and then that basically slots the toilet roll over the dispenser. And then I think they have to line it up basically to make sure it's in line to the rolling machine. Now that material there is our side cladding, so that's 0.5 plastisol. Now for side cladding, it goes effectively upside down, so the colour of the material when it comes off the roll is down. And then it goes through, and it goes from a 1220mm width of material, and by the time it's been through all the rollers and got to the far end and all the creases and all the corrugations are folded into it, obviously as they fold them, the material reduces in width and it gives a cover width of 1 metre sheet, which is what we use on the buildings. So obviously there are different size coils for different size profiles that go on and different size coverings, but we use 1 metre cover 30 to 1,000 sheet, which is what this machine does. And this machine also does roofing sheets as well. So with the colour facing down effectively, the profile is formed through these sets of rollers so that the corrugation is suited to that of a side lap, or a side profile should I say. And then if this was roof sheet, then effectively the coil goes on the other way round, so it dispenses over the top instead of underneath, and then that comes off through the same set of rollers exactly the same way, but now the colour is this side on the top, and it's formed basically when it's gone through its rollers, then it gives the profile the other way round, which gives it more strength for a roof sheet. But again, that would be 0.7 material as well, not 0.5. The other thing, if it is roofing as well, we do offer drip stop, which is this stuff here. So basically drip stop is a felt, so if that was roofing material now, the colour would be here on the top, and this is the underside of the sheet, and then this felt effectively is on another big toilet roll on sticky back, and basically that sticks to the underside of the sheet. And what that does is effectively, when the sheet on the roof condensates, the idea is that the felt gets wet and the condensation and the water effectively works its way through the felt down to the bottom of the sheet and into the gutter, and away it goes. So that's the idea of what the drip stop does, and that is basically just stuck, like I say, on the underside of the sheet before it goes through its roll forming process. So then when the material goes through the rollers, basically each roller is set at a series of different heights, And basically it starts off with one in the middle, so it starts in the middle of the sheet, and then gradually as it gets further along, them rollers sit deeper and deeper and deeper until eventually what you don't want to do is if it goes through straight away and you try to form it all on the first few sets of rollers, it'll put too much stress on the sheet and wouldn't work. So it goes through these series of rollers, as you can see it doing now, and each time gradually the profile is getting formed from the centre of the sheet, working its way out. In terms of cutting lengths and how the sheets are stacked, Sam's up the far end, so we'll go and watch what he's doing now. So basically what we've got now is they are making the side cladding sheets for one of our buildings. So there's a set length of material. The gable sheets have just been done, but these are 52 sheets of the same size basically for the sides of one of our buildings. And then what happens is there's a cutting list that comes through, which is from the office, and then basically there's a computer behind here and they input the length that they require in. That crops the material to length as it comes off, and then basically when they've got a series of different stuff they can put different length measurements in. So Sam was just saying to me, they send the first piece through, they crop it to a set length, they check that length, and then once they've checked that that length is the right length, if it needs adjusting they can adjust it beforehand on here, but if not then they can just hit run and it'll run, crop, the material is then slid off, stacked up in a nice neat tidy pile, wrapped, packaged, out they go and onto the wagon. Have a quick look at the computer. So basically it's quite a simple computer package, even I could work this one. It's got a length, so the length is set, a batch of how many that you want to input to be done, and then basically it's got the speed setting. So you of what length you want cut, how many pieces you want, you hit start, away it goes. So we've got the length set at 3866. It's measuring constantly as the material is coming through the machine. We've got a batch number of 46 pieces that he wants. It has already done 12. Now the reason it's 46 and not 50 odd that I said is because it's something to do with the amount of material that's left in the machine from when they crop the coil off, so there's no wastage, so they do the last few manually, and then basically it is running at 3,300 mile an hour. Same as I work at. So again, different material, but basically they also do the, what I would call the Profile 3 corrugated material. So it runs through the same process again, but obviously these are rollers instead of box rollers that have gone on. So I think that is polyester for, yeah, it's polyester, and Sam said it was basically for a lining job on the inside of a building. So this is where they make the flashings. Now I'm not going to profess to know a great deal about this. I think that's the green one is the guillotine, and I think these ones are obviously bending the flashings. Sam's in here setting up now, and it looks like one of our orders has just been finished in terms of the folding of the flashings, but we might get to see a little bit of one of them being made. I don't profess to know what these machines do. Am I right in saying that's the guillotine?
That's the guillotine.
And these do the bendy bits?
They do.
Okay. You run us through then what process you go through in here now to make obviously a flat sheet as it comes in on the pallet through to our folded pack of flashings when it's ready to go out.
So obviously you saw the coils of steel earlier on.
Yeah.
They can either go through the roll formers through there, or they can go through the flat machine. We bring it through the flat machine, rolls them to 3 metre lengths. We do it at 3 metre lengths because our guillotines and folders are 1 metres.
Yeah.
Say we'll take an order for juniper green, like in your order. We'll bring the flat sheets in. We'll put the flat sheets through the guillotine there, all to the girths that marry up with the drawings that we have done for you.
So if we've got a 200 by 200 corner flashing with a 10mm welt, would that be right? Yeah. So you'd have roughly 420mm of girth that you would crop on the guillotine.
Yeah.
And then that would come through to one of these machines.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's obviously the most popular flashing that everybody always has. So the way you work is, because it's 1220mm wide coil, we try and get 3 out of a sheet. So 420 is roughly a third of a sheet. So we end up doing it 406mm girth. We put our safe edges on, and then you have your legs for that. So it would be 420 mil into the guillotine, cut that, it feeds it out, bring it onto the table, and then for simple flashings like that, we use the sedan folder that we've got. Lovely machine, it's quick, lightweight, and it does easy flashings quite quick. Put them on the trestles, package them up, put your label on, and we'll take them out ready for delivery to put on the wagon for you. Then what about more complicated, like these, for example?
Yeah, they're quite complex, aren't they?
So they're going to be used as a bracket for overskinning the building.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Putting it on the walls. Now,
so how do you do that? So how do you make that? How do you? Because that machine won't do that, will it?
Exactly. It can do it, but you'd have to take the strips, you'd have to do a fold, flip it over, turn it round, things like that. Whereas we have this folder here, where it folds from the top and folds from the bottom. So it can do it all in a seamless.
Is that what you're drawing on there?
Exactly. So we'd have the drawings here, for example. So we have the simple drawing there. We've got 640 of them to make, 100 millimeters long, 244 mil girth.
Yeah.
So we have we just draw the rough shape first, like so. Come on to here, we change the dimensions, 25. 110 on top. All the folds need to be 90 degrees. So we have that there, and you can see the width adds up to the correct girth that the drawing is.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and then we can come on to bend the profile. It gives you a few options of what to do, which way is the best way, but normally it gives it a ranking out of 5 stars. Then this shows you how it's going to fold it, like so. And then we come round and we can start bending. In this machine, it's obviously just finished its cycle of doing those.
Yeah.
So he's got quite a job on his hands for 640 of them.
Right, Sam, thank you very much. It has been very interesting, and thanks for giving us your time, showing us around.
Absolute pleasure showing you around and showing you how it all works.
Yeah, no worries, mate. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is MCS and is the box profile sheeting and the flashings and how it's all made. So a massive thanks to Sam and all the guys here at MCS, because they've given up their day to day to let us come round and poke our nose in everything, and they've showed us everything that they do. So a real massive thank you to them. They're based in Leekbrook, just outside of Leek in Staffordshire, and they've got a good delivery network as well. So if you do want any form of box profile cladding, flashings, sheeting rails, fibre cement even, these are the guys to get in touch with. So we're going to head back to the office now. We're going to leave you guys with a MCS montage, and we'll catch you next time. So if you like what you've seen, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll catch you then. Cheers.